All right. Hello, everyone. Looks like we've got a full room here. Welcome to Holiday Waste Reduction Strategies webinar with Upcycle Part Shop. My name is Catherine Sturinsky. I'm with the Department of Sustainability here at the county. And today's topic was inspired by the season, of course, as we're heading into Thanksgiving and all of the winter holidays. It's also a notorious time that results in a lot of waste, due in large part to fun things like gathering and being together. Gifting, of course, is another source of waste. And then, of course, there's the lure of all those sales that start happening. Our culture pushes consumption and the thing that will solve, as it's the thing that will solve all our problems and make us, really feel good. But the reality is, hyperconsumption is actually what's fueling climate change. The presentation that you'll hear today is promoting the opposite of this. Upcycle Parts Shop mission is to provoke creativity, promote community through reuse, resourcefulness, and relationships. Their work is good for the people, good for the planet, and good for the economy. Before I introduce our speakers, I do want to just point out a few housekeeping tips. First, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. And do remember to stay on until the end so that you can get the scoop on next month's topic, which is a really good one. And of course, we will have the code for our wellness program participants as well. All right, so with us today are two key people who are leading the charge at Upcycle Part Shop. Kaliya Smith is the executive director, not quite a year in her role, but she previously worked for the organization as a program manager. So she was absolutely poised for this moment. In fact, the former director has shared that as soon as she met Kaliya, she knew that she would be her successor. And then we have Frankie Conti, who is the new program manager, but also a longtime customer and probably expert crafter, though both are self-proclaimed makers. They really do bring the zing to Upcycle Part Shop. Along with four other staff members and volunteers known as Upcycle All-Stars, they are continuing the now decade-old tradition of crafting on St. Clair Avenue with community building at the forefront of their mission. So with that, I will pass the microphone to Kaliya, and she'll get us started.
Can you hear me?
Yes, all good, Kaliya.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Our Wi-Fi is sometimes a little sketchy. We're in a very historical building, so please bear with me. I'm really excited to be here, though. Thank you for having Upcycle Part Shop. Thank you for the brief introduction. As Catherine stated, I'm the executive director of Upcycle Part Shop, and I'm here with Frankie Conti, our program director, who's most of our programs and workshops. Um, so I am going to go ahead and share my screen and start the presentation.
We're still seeing a dark screen.
Uh-oh. It's loading. Let me know. Can you see my presentation now?
No, now it says click to exit full screen. It's mostly black and gray.
Ah! Okay, let me exit out. Okay, what about now?
Yes, that looks good.
All right, I'm so sorry about that. All these technical difficulties. Okay, well, thank you for having us today, Catherine. I am Kaliya Smith, the Executive Director of Upcycle Part Shop, and met with Frankie Conti, our Program Director. And today we're here to talk about holiday waste, but I want to start with a brief introduction of who we are and what we do. So, Upcycle Part Shop is a social enterprise, and a social enterprise is basically a nonprofit organization that is able to make revenue. So, we also support a social cause while able to make revenue, and a local art supply store located in the St. Clair Superior community. And we also offer programs and workshops in which we teach sustainable practices and we use secondhand materials to elevate them and find new life and find new creative ways to use the things that we already have. Uh-oh. So here is a picture of our storefront. We're located at 6421 St. Clair Avenue, like I mentioned, in the St. Clair Superior community. So not too far from downtown, but also not too far from the Glenville neighborhood, if you're familiar with that. Over at 6419 is the storefront that we originally started out from. We actually just recently expanded this past February into the storefront next door. So we still locate out of both sections of the building, but we kind of joined spaces and we've been very, very thankful for all the new space that we have because it's a lot of stuff to try to cram into a small, less than 1,000 square foot was our previous storefront. So, over the span of 10 years that we've been open and operating, we actually just turned 10 years this past summer. We've been able to divert 55 tons of materials from going to the landfill. That's a whole lot of stuff. So, again, most of that we diverted in that 9.5 years. We were in that small, tiny storefront, less than 1,000 square feet. So, that's a lot of stuff in that small storefront. If we were to give you a visual of how much stuff that actually is, 55 tons of materials is about 20 full grown male rhinoceros. And if they were to come in the space that you're sitting in right now, that would be a lot of things and it probably wouldn't fit. So that's just a visual of how much stuff we've been able to come up with creative ways and elevate the materials and find new life in them. So today's topic is holiday waste. I want to give some statistics behind the average person and how much waste the average person produces. So the average American produces 5 pounds of waste per day. That's 35 pounds per week. During the holidays, that raises to 6.25 pounds per day or 43.75 pounds per year. So the hustle and bustle of the holidays, it makes it very difficult for people to upcycle or recycle their items, just it being so fast paced. And if we look at that at the end of the year, that's about 2.9 billion more waste going to landfills. That's again a whole lot of stuff. So here at Upcycle Part Shop, it's our job to kind of come up with the creative outlets that we don't actually have to look at these one-time use items, things like prescription pill bottles, things like water bottles, or things that are looked at as only using one time. We can get real creative and come up with ideas and come up with newfound ways to use the items that we already have just to prevent them from going to places that look like this. So, common sources of holiday waste around this time would be like wrapping paper, single use decor, so items that you would only use for this holiday and then you kind of throw them out because they don't fit any other holiday. Excessive packaging when you're packing gifts or when you're ordering gifts, even. Food, of course, is a huge common source of waste during the holidays, all the food that's not eaten. So, some sustainable swaps that you can do for some of that is like composting your leftover food scraps. You can make some of your gifts and DIY gift tags and gift cards are always easy to make because there's plenty of paper around. I'm sure we all know there's plenty of paper around anywhere you go. Reusable gift wrap, so you can use things like fabric in this image here, fabric and a bow. You can use newspaper, pretty much any fun paper that you have on hand. Handmade or upcycled decor or handmade or upcycled gifts are also great sustainable swaps. So one fun thing material that we like to use is something that you probably don't realize you see it every single day. If you step into any other space outside of your home, a building, anywhere that you go, you'll see wall bases, right? And you probably don't realize that you see these items, but you also see them when you go to Home Depot. You can get them on a huge line of ring that we get like donated to us. And these come in different colors, different forms, you can make different shapes out of them. So we like to look at the properties and functions of what items are and not what they once were. So if you look at this material, it's really, really fun. It comes in vibrant colors. You can bend this material really well. It's waterproof. So thinking creatively on how can we use these things. So the ones that we normally get are commonly discontinued colors, or we get them from the Cuyahoga Solid Waste District, and we get them in a huge abundance. They usually last us maybe about a year. We actually just had to get more of them this past year. So we come up with different ways to use these items, and it's all about getting creative and stepping into your imagination to turn it into something like this. So these we could use for centerpieces to add to your Thanksgiving decor. You can add these to any table to make them pop. You could also swap out the colors to make them fit for any holiday. And we like to use, what we use to make this is wire hangers and just the vinyl. And it holds together. You can use a hole puncher to slide it through, or pretty much anything that you have on hand that kind of imitates a wire hanger or kind of imitates a wall base, and the same ideas of properties and functions. So here's another example of something that I'm sure we all are familiar with: water bottles. They are constantly looked at as one-time use items simply because what you need inside of it, once it's gone, it's gone. So a lot of people, they tend to throw out their water bottles, but you can get creative and step outside of yourself sometime and just say, hey, this is actually a great art project. It's clear, it's transparent, it also can be bent and manipulated into different shapes and sizes. So you could turn something like this into something like this. So these are what we call bottle blossoms. And it's just the flower that never dies. It's the plastic water bottle. As we know, plastic will probably outlive us all. It's going to be here for quite a while. So why not get creative with how we use it and how we can just elevate the item and make it work for us? So we like to make these beautiful bottle blossoms. Again, we use wire hanger, bottle caps, and the plastic water bottle. All the properties from that plus a wire hanger and maybe some vinyl just to make a stopper at the end so it doesn't slide out of place. But you can also get creative with how you create these. We've made them with pipe cleaners, we've made them with sticks, we've made them with different things that just kind of imitate the base and the structure of the project. So here's one of my favorite bottle blossoms. I love the detail of this one. So it's all about getting creative. And here's just a workshop where we're leading bottle blossoms. We have some volunteers painting them for us. And another great crafting project that we love to do during the holidays. This is perfect for the holidays because you can, again, swap out the colors and make them work for whatever holiday you need. We call these the accordion style flowers. So we can make this out of cardstock. You can make this out of paper. We like to use event banners that we get donated to us. So event banners, because again, an event banner that has a date on it for a certain time, once that date has passed, an organization or the place or the party, the people who have that event banner, they no longer need it. So, of course, they donate it to a place like us. We get creative with how we use that. We look at the colors, the properties, the functions. This is waterproof. Most event banners are, and so it makes for a great outside decor. You can add these to your porch, to your home. And if you do a red and white color like this one, you could even make them look like peppermints, spearmints, anything of that nature to make it fun. You could also use fabric. We led a workshop in Israel where we worked with some students and they wanted to reuse a lot of the tablecloths that they had. So they used all these different patterns and all these different excessive tablecloths that they had to make decor for their fence outside of their school. And it came out lovely. So this is another fun and easy one. It's just accordion style paper. You take two, you put them together, and you find a connector piece. Because again, we like to look at properties and functions. So our recipe for a perfect crafting project includes a great base, includes a great embellishment, includes a connector, and some fun paper. So tips for a low waste holiday would be to shop secondhand. Check out your local creative reuse center, thrift shops, local reuse artists who may sell things and make things with their hands. Natural homemade decor, pine cones, autumn leaves, branches, and pretty much any fun paper. Like I mentioned before, we have an abundance of paper always around us. So fun colors and fun paper. Ornaments can be made from great decor that you already have around you in your home or outside your home around. And tips for a low waste holiday also include, like I mentioned earlier, composting the leftover food, food scraps from holiday dinners, reusable shopping totes, as you know, the BYOB, shopping totes for shopping trips. That's super important because, again, there's a lot of shopping and a lot of hustle and bustle that happens around the holidays. So, always keeping some shopping bags, reusable shopping bags in your car or in your bag or in your purse is a good tip. And also just share the tips with your friends and family. Encourage them to also make sustainable choices, and they'll probably also share it with someone else, and so on and so forth. And that's how we create sustainable communities. Okay, and now I'm going to pass it over to Frankie.
Hi, everybody. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about our programming department and sort of talk about how we use sustainable practices and how that can inspire you to be more sustainable for the holiday season. Kaliya, could you bring that slideshow back up for me?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Uh-oh. My screen won't let me out. Okay. This is becoming more okay. 1 second. Let me click into this view. Okay. Can you see that view?
I'm not sure if I see it shared.
No, not sharing yet.
Uh-oh. What about now?
Nope, we still see you, Kaliya.
Oh, wow. I see my screen. So let me try to do different.
It
Okay,
says,
it looks like we're getting closer. It's a black screen that is telling you to double click for full screen mode.
now I see the Zoom. There we go. So you could bring up that slide right there.
Pretty good if you
Okay.
can just get the presenter view.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you see that?
Unfortunately, no.
No, it looks like it's
Oh.
loading still. So while that's loading, I'll jump in here and just share one of the questions that's been asked. So the question is, are you familiar with Starting Point out of school time programs? I think this would be an excellent resource for a host and non-governmental organization who would absolutely love your creativity. So if you want to address that, and then we can jump back into the slides now that it looks like they're up.
Yeah, so we are familiar with Starting Point. I'm not sure that if I personally in a new role have worked with them with Upcycle, but I would be open to just partnering and collaborating and hearing on ideas on how we could possibly collaborate and work together.
Awesome. So, just jumping back into the slideshow. So, as the programming director, I oversee our arts programming, and the programming department's main objectives are to promote creativity by offering innovative art programs that encourage like low stakes creative expression and non-traditional applications of materials. So, thinking about, a space in which people can make things without the worry of the outcome, and also using materials they might not otherwise know about because it's creative reuse. I'm also focused on building community through shared creative experience and inclusive activities that bring people together. And I'm also really aiming to foster a culture of creative reuse. So I'm trying to inspire people to rethink about materials they already might own and adopt sustainable practices in their everyday life. And our core values as an organization, but as the programming department really is creativity, community, and sustainability. And that really comes through our department and our programming. So if you want to move on to the next slide for me. So our approach to programming is rooted in creative solutions and innovative thinking. So thinking about what drives our projects. So you want to go to the next slide there. Go back one.
It's like jumping forward.
Oh,
It's not allowing
you to view that one. Huh. Well, I'll talk about what's on that in any case. So really, there's just some words and I will say them
There we
anyway.
go.
Oh, there they are. For creative innovation, I like to focus on exploring unconventional materials to spark ideas for our projects. So this is really like, how do I come up with projects? I like to design projects based only on the available resources we have in shop, rather than trying to purchase something. I'm thinking about what's already on hand. And I'm encouraging participants to always make something without fear of failure, because there's no wrong way to create. So my project development process is really about identifying what the needs or interests are of the community or whatever participants that might be. So in your case, if it's a gift, you know, you're thinking, what do my gift givers or giftees need? And then sourcing materials you might already have available. So thinking about, do you have things already on hand that could be used for whatever that need might be? And then also in the prototyping, I'm developing ideas and testing them. So I think that's always an important part of making. You have to see if what you're making is applicable to whatever you're doing. So one of the examples of a project that I created with this model in mind is our scrap fabric pumpkins, which are pictured here. And so I developed this project to go along with our senior programming that we host at Fatima Family Center every few months. And these were designed with sustainability in mind. So these scrap fabric pumpkins are made entirely out of scrap fabric that we get into our shop. And the idea there being that these fabric pieces are often the things that go left unwanted, and trying to think about what materials I had on hand and how could I reuse those. This project also was made in mind with folks with limited mobility in their hands due to arthritis or age. And it was a really successful project for that reason, you know, thinking about what I had on hand, who it was for, and how I could make it into something brand new. If you want to go to the next slide. So it's time to roll up your sleeves. You can come along with me to make some crafts today. I've created these two projects that we're going to do today, and all you're going to need is paper, scissors, and adhesive of some kind. So that can be glue, tape, glue sticks, staples. And I really wanted for this project to be accessible for you all. So paper, as Kaliya was saying earlier, paper is pretty much everywhere. Even if you don't have fancy paper, you probably have a brochure that's just lying around. And so I thought we could go over, first, we're gonna do the accordion style ornaments. So all you'll need for that is a piece of paper and scissors and your adhesive. So to start, I wanna square my paper. So if you have a paper that's really long and it's not a square, if you fold one edge of your paper down, it is now a square, and you'll cut the excess off. And these ornaments are really fun because they're easy to make and they're really pretty, and you could use them as Christmas tree ornaments or as decoration for your gifts. So once we have a square piece, we are going to accordion fold it. So accordion folding is really simple. You fold one way, and then you keep folding back and forth. It's sort of like when you made fans in preschool, perhaps, and you'll continue to fold the whole way down. And I think the fun part about these projects is it's something that's really low effort, you know, paper, scissors, things like that, and it makes something so fun. Once we have our piece accordion folded the whole way, you're going to grab the middle almost like a bow tie, and you're going to adhere something to it to hold this bow tie shape. So I have a piece of tape already ready for myself. You'd be like so. And then you're going to bring the corners of that together to make one half of your accordion style project. So to complete it, you would just do another half of this. And I'm adhering a piece of tape to this side to hold it together. And you could hole punch at the top to make a little space for a string to hold it on a tree. So the other project I was going to get into was also a paper tree. This is a really fun project, also totally made of paper. This one you don't need any pieces of tape or adhesive. And for this one, you're going to square the paper again. So making a square piece. And this one is a lot of folding. So we're going to fold like so, that it's a square. Fold the other way to make another crease, like so. And then you're going to fold it in half to make a crease. Fold it again in half to make a crease. And then we have this crease paper. So now this is where it gets a little tricky, but you'll take the two halves of it, you'll fold it in, and then you're going to take the two other halves and fold those in as well. This will bring us to this little almost square shape, diamond shape. And you're going to then fold the diamond in on this side. And you'll do that on both ends. So once you have it like so, you're going to cut the bottom off to make the edge of the tree. And then you will take these folds that you've made and you'll fold them in on themselves. So like so. You'll do that all the way around. Once you have that done, you will cut along the edges of that tree to make the branches. Branches, this one's extra small. And to complete this, you would just fold your branches down and fan your tree out to eventually make a whole tree. So these are simple crafts that can be done with just a piece of paper. So there's certainly other things to be done with things that you have at hand for your holiday. So if you want to switch that one, thank you. So as we wrap up, I want to invite you to not just consider what materials are or have been, but what they could become. Every scrap can become something and has the transformative power to be something beautiful and new. And at Upcycle, we really embrace this community, sustainability, and creativity to do just that, make something new out of what was.
Thank you, Frankie. That was our crafting demo with Frankie. At Upcycle Part Shop, we're creating less waste, more art, more community, and more possibilities. Will you join us? We are open in our retail shop Wednesday through Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m., 6421 St. Clair Avenue. And we also have a craft cafe that's open to the public where we offer Pay What You Can workshop series. Tomorrow we'll actually be doing a basket weaving from 1 to 3. You're completely welcome to come. And we have a little special promo code for the Lunch and Learn. So if you mention Lunch and Learn at the register, you'll get 15% off this weekend on any holiday gifts that you might need for your needs and your gifts and your shopping and your family and friends. So we hope to connect with you. And if you need anything or would like to connect us on a more collaborative level, you can email us at hello@upcyclepartshop.org or myself at Kaliya at upcyclepartshop.org. That's Kaliya. And I hope to talk to you soon. Thanks for the presentation, Catherine.
Thank you, Kaliya. I think you're presentation slides are beautiful. And they do reflect the store. So, that photograph that shows the storefront, when you walk into either side, it's like this explosion of color and textures, and it's just a really fun experience. So I do encourage everyone to just go check it out. It's actually not too far from where a lot of our county buildings are located, right on St. Clair at East 64th Street. It's in the former Slovenian National Home, or still current Slovenian National Home, but um, it's a really fun experience. And I don't know, are there any other workshops planned for early next year, Kaliya?
Oh, well, Frankie is our girl for that.
Yeah, so this spring, our workshop series is going to be focused on junk journaling. So our program schedule should be posted by next week, and you can make a journal, you can make accessories for your journal, and it's going to be hosted by local artists. So we're really excited to have so many folks on board for this program.
And that will be on our Saturdays on St. Clair, right?
Yes, exactly. So that will be our Saturdays on St. Clair series. And so that's every other Saturday in spring. And it will be from 1 to 3 in our craft cafe.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Let's see. Anybody have any questions? Oh, I see one just popped in. Are these kid friendly? So I think the question is about the workshops. Are they kid friendly? And is the craft cafe kid friendly?
Yes, most definitely. So craft cafe and our workshops are generally kid friendly. There are some projects that might be a little tougher for younger kiddos, like basket weaving might be one. But we also try to make an effort to have specific kids workshops. So that's always something on our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this statement, but it's also a question. It says, I'm assuming you take donations? Tell us about that.
Yes, everything that we use in our crafting, everything that we sell in our store is donated to us by material donation. So we do donation appointments on Wednesdays and Sundays. You can make that appointment on our website, and it also will show you our material donation guide. If you have about what should I bring, what are you looking for, we do have a guide on our website. We
Okay,
love
any
that
more
question.
questions out there? Feel free to type them to the chat, or we're a somewhat small group, so you can also shoot up your hand and I can give you the opportunity to speak live if you'd prefer. Well, I know one question that I have is, do you have space to host parties? And how does that work? Like if I wanted to have a friend's crafting night, can that happen at Upcycle Part Shop?
Do you you want me to
Yeah.
speak? You want to go ahead, Frankie?
Yeah, so we do have rentals available, and we have 2 crafting rooms. So we have one on our ground floor. That's our craft cafe space that you're available to rent. And there's also our upstairs space, which is more secluded, more private, but also only accessible via stairs, just due to the fact that it's a historic building. And we have people host birthday parties. We've had bridal showers. We've had craft groups. So it's really, we've also had a meeting or two here. So there's things that people are always looking to use the space for, and it's a fun, creative space. And I don't know, it's always fun to see how people imagine their events here.
Definitely a creative space. So if you're looking to book an event or host in our space, host your own workshop, we also do that as well. Your birthday party, our founder actually had her son's birthday party here last night. So we're always available and open to rent out our space if it's available. So you can do that also on our website. And we have the program inquiry form right now where you can send like your request and the date and time. You'll fill that out and then one of our staff will get back to you.
And someone just asked, how about date nights? Can that happen there?
Ooh, that's so cute. Yes, of course. You can get creative with how you want to use the space. That's the beauty of it. Like, we are not putting much restraints on you. We encourage creativity. So a date night that we've never done that one before, but I think there's always time for a first, of course.
Yeah, that would be really dreamy to have like a date night event.
I know, an
Like
upcycle date night.
collaging something. Yeah.
All right. Well, it started here at the county lunch and learn. Um,
Yes.
any other questions out there? Okay, well, I did share the Upcycle Part Shop website in the Q&A, so please do check that out. If you have any questions about anything, it's likely on the website, but feel free to reach out to the shop staff. Like I said, there are volunteers and Upcycle All-Stars who are in the shop, and if I'm not mistaken, many of the people who are volunteering and working for the organization, they're pretty crafty themselves, right?
Oh yeah, we're definitely a team of makers here. Like we we all identify, I think, in different spaces of creative arts. So like I consider myself a maker. Frankie is really good at more so like media, graphic art, and also like clay making and things like that. And then our volunteer coordinator, they would probably not say they're crafty, but we're whispering that because we like to think everybody is crafty in their own way. We're all creators. Even if you wake up every day, you have to create the life that you want to live. So it's like getting creative and getting comfortable in that space. But we love to make our signs. We make everything in here is pretty much handwritten. Our labels, like, so we encourage it. We may pull it out of some of our staff members, but you know.
Nice. So you're probably brushing shoulders with artists when you're there shopping too.
Hmm.
We do have a question. It's a good one. And yeah, because they get amazing amount of supplies. But the question is, how do you keep all the donations organized?
Oh, that's a great question. So we are still in the process. We just recently switched our donation system to go to appointments, which we are still appointment only, but we switched to a self-service system just because our appointments before were taking so long to process and so long to sort until it would get to our shop floor or until we would be able to actually craft with the materials. And it got to a point where we were turning people away and saying, we don't have any appointments available until 100 days from now, which sounds kind of like crazy. And people need a place they kind of easily and that's accessible to them to take their belongings before it ends up in the trash. And I feel like you only have a certain amount of time before you catch a person at the trash. And it's like, I've tried everything I can. This has to go. So we switched our system to a self-service system, and which makes it quicker. So we're able to take, I think right now we take about 5 people per slot. So we take them from 1 to 3 Wednesdays and Sundays. And from those times, we're able to take multiple people in 1 hour where they're able to come in, scan the QR code, fill out the form, which tells us how much we're diverting from the landfill. And then we have bins that are labeled in the entire room for you to be able to drop your items into those bins. Also, when you book your appointment, you're sent a video that kind of shows you the layout of the space. So you kind of know what to expect before you get there, where you're going, what blue door to arrive to, kind of like the process, so you kind of already know. And that has been very helpful as we hear from customers and donors as well.
And while you're sorting your
Amazing.
donations, you can see what other people have donated, which might inspire you to be able to donate some of those things the next time you come in. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, it's a really great way to be able to get things back into use without necessarily sending them to recycling,
Hmm.
which is a very labor intensive, energy intensive process.
Yes.
So taking a material and giving it a next life, is really the best next step for an object.
Exactly. That's a great point also that you just made there, Catherine, because I think also a lot of times people can confuse the two terms of upcycling and recycling. Recycling is where you're breaking the material down completely and starting something new, whereas opposed to upcycling would be like, I'm done with this cup and I'm going to turn this into a vase when I'm done. I'm going to dazzle it, I'm going to wash it off, I'm going to make it look real cute, and then I'm going to use it as something else. Whereas recycling would be like, I'm going to go give this to someone so they can kind of break this all down and turn it into a necklace for me. That's like recycling. So I love that you just made that point.
So we have another question. This person says, I'm big on volunteering. Can you talk about the possibility of volunteering in the shop?
Yes, of course. We have volunteer registration opportunities on our website as well. So we have three departments where we look for volunteer support: shop support, programming support, and then it's kind of like our all-star and general support. So other areas, things that you can kind of just fill in. But we do have specific, I guess what you would say, like a niche of volunteer support. So for shop support, you would be obviously working in our shop, working with our shop manager, our materials. Probably because donations in the shop work hand in hand, you'll be get a full experience at what an appointment looks like, kind of start to finish from there. But we definitely have opportunities, and we encourage and we love to meet new people. So I encourage you to check out our volunteer page as well. Thank you.
Okay, great. Any last questions? Feel free to shoot your hand up if you'd like, or type away in the Q&A. All right, well, I'm going to start the wrap-up slides that I usually do at the end of these sessions, but if any questions come in, we'll make sure to be able to answer those too while I'm doing that. So I will
Okay.
just share my slides here, talk about some sustainability events that are happening. Okay. All right. So first, I'd like to share that the last Fix It workshop for the year is coming up on Monday. Fix It workshops are a really cool um, program that the Cleveland Public Library and the Solid Waste District, in concert with a variety of other organizations, have developed to show and teach and support people who want to fix the things that they have rather than throwing them out or sending them off to a recycling opportunity if that's even possible. Most of these things can't be recycled. And so, fixing them is a great way to keep them from the landfill. But the next one is on Monday, and it's at Case Western Reserve at the Sears Think Box. They will restart again, I believe, in February, but it is a great opportunity to get something fixed and learn how to fix it too. So it's very empowering. Next, we have some ongoing collection events I thought you'd be interested in, which is campaign sign and holiday lights recycling that the Solid Waste District offers. These are things that you can't recycle in your curbside, but they can be recycled when gotten to the right place. But you can take them to the district headquarters in Garfield Heights, or also check your city's website because they may be hosting a collection as well for either of those options or both of them. So it's a great way to, take those broken lights and keep them out of the landfill, get them recycled. And the fun part is that ultimately they go to benefit the Cleveland Metro Parks Zoo Lights for Lions program. And of course, every session I am promoting that we have green teams here at the county, and we would love to get some more started. So if you are in a building where there's some interest, give us a call. We'd be happy to help you get one started in your building to have employees rally around some issues, waste issues, reduction strategies, and even some fun stuff. So we've had field trips with some green teams, and we just recently did a litter pickup near one of our office buildings. And the next Lunch and Learn is scheduled for Tuesday, December 17th. Shaking up the schedule just a little bit because the holidays are coming, and we know that a lot of people are taking vacation time and whatnot. But we will be hearing from Cleveland Water. And this is a topic that you have all told us through the surveys that you would be interested in understanding more about water quality. And so we will have a water quality expert here to talk about the whole system, how water gets from Lake Erie to your tap. They'll talk about the nuances between water quality from your tap and in comparison to bottled water. So I know that's a hot topic. So it should be a really great session. And here are our wellness points. So this is the code that you will enter to get your wellness points for today's presentation participation. So I'll leave this up on the screen for a couple seconds. If there's any last questions for Kaliya and Frankie, please feel free to type them up in the Q&A or shoot your hand up, either way. All right, so I just want to thank Kaliya and Frankie so very much for your time and talent. And I encourage everyone to, look into Upcycle's programs, keep your eyes out for them. They're at a lot of community events as well. And thank you again, Kaliya and Frankie, for sharing your time with us.
Thank you for having us and allowing us to just share our sustainable tips and tricks. And hopefully, this holiday season, we can spread some joy and creativity at the same time.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Have a wonderful holiday season, everyone. And we will see you on December 17th for our conversation with Cleveland Water.